Welcome to the Sunday morning worship service of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church in Naperville, Illinois. I am Ann Ariano, a member of your Board of Trustees. We are so glad you are here, whether you are present in the sanctuary this morning or watching remotely. It is so good to be together. We welcome you to our church and invite you to get to know us better after the service. To keep us all as safe as possible, we ask that you remain masked. Those of us on the chancel will remove our masks to speak from the microphone. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold that there are many paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another on our spiritual and religious journeys while holding ourselves in covenant. The rich liberal legacy of Unitarian Universalism is rooted in our faith's 7 principles. These principles guide our faithful actions as we work to transform the world to be more just and equitable. You may find these principles listed on our website or on the wall in our social hall. Whoever you are, wherever you are on life's journey, wherever you are in the world, you are welcome here. And we have one more item this morning. Good morning. I'm Fazilina, niece of the very famous stand-up comedian Fozzie Bear. I'd like to share a reminder about our upcoming auction. But first, did I tell you the one about the man with the light bulb in his nose? He was lightheaded. Get it?
Did we get it? Yeah, we get it like this.
Bad delivery. Must be in the genes.
Oh, they're loving it. Here's another one. Why did the man put a sweater on his hot dog? Because it was a chili dog. Waka waka.
You call that a joke?
We are here voluntarily, so I guess the joke's on us.
Yeah.
What's no joke is that we have Auction 2022 starting in 2.5 weeks. The virtual online portion starts on Thursday, November 3 at 4 p.m., and bidding runs until Sunday, November 6 at noon. And the live auction is on Saturday, November 5, with optional appetizers and drinks at 5:30 in the Learning Center, or you can choose to attend the live auction bidding only at 7 o'clock, masked in the sanctuary. Tickets for all are available now. Donation deadline for items, services, parties, for virtual and live, are due next Sunday, October 30. All information you need can be found on the church website under Auction 2022 in the top navigation. And auction team member Lindy Spreetsma will be in Creeps Hall today and next Sunday if you have questions, and to show off a few items she is donating. Did you hear the one about the golfer wearing 2 pairs of pants? He got a hole-in-one.
Why are we here? Hey, I need to buy some great stuff, and I have an idea for an event.
I do need to fill up my social calendar, and I'm gonna bid on that 1,000-piece puzzle.
Let's buy tickets.
Thank you for the help. The heckling. I invite you to turn to someone you did not come with and greet them with a wave and a good morning greeting. If you are online, we invite you to greet each other through the chat.
I light this chalice for the second source of our living tradition that draws from words and deeds of prophetic women and men, which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love.
Good morning. Good morning. Our call to worship is by Annie Forrester. Come we now out of darkness. Come we now out of the darkness of our unknowing and the dusk of our dreaming. Come we now from far places. Come we now into the twilight of our awakening and the reflection of our gathering. Come we now all together, we bring unilluminated our dark caves of doubting. We seek the clear light of understanding. May the sparks of our joining kindle our resolve, brighten our spirits, reflect our love, and unshadow our days. Come we now, enter the dawning. Come, let us worship together. Please join me in singing hymn number 128, For All That Is Our Life. Please join me, please join me in reading the covenant. We come together to affirm our relationship with one another, our shared commitment to our Unitarian Universalist principles, and to our DuPage UU Church community. We recognize our agency and our connective power, and we accept our responsibility to be bold and courageous in relationship with one another. We will transform ourselves and the world. Our vision of beloved community is rooted in the relationships we have with each other, our world, and creation. Each week we share our joys and concerns with one another, and some remain unspoken until they are ready to be shared. Today, our joys and concerns include that today's flowers, this lovely arrangement here, were given by Elaine Waite in memory and gratitude for her dear DUUC friends, Robin Spreetsma, Mary Ellen Matthews, Bud White, Tina Lynn Mull, Tom Groves, and Jean McCollum. Our next announcement is from Russ Manthe and his wife, Carol. After 4 months of struggle that included 45 days in hospitals, Carol completed her outpatient physical therapy at Marion Joy on October 21st. She has mastered her activities of daily living. She can walk without a walker. She has been cleared to drive. Most important, her mental state is positive and assertive. The person I remember from before the fall last June 15th. Fatigue at the end of the day remains the only vestige of her injury. We are grateful to our friends at DUUC who helped us through this difficult time. In particular, the pastoral ministry group was hands-on and quick with their help. The moral support I received as Carol's caregiver when she was in distress was essential to my survival and her healing. A visit from Mandy, our brand new minister, also gave me heart and encouragement. The food, calls, cards, supplies, and the willingness of church members to listen at my darkest hours demonstrated the power of beloved community here at DUUC. We thank you all as we celebrate the joy of Carol's recovery. Blessings to you both. Tomorrow marks the holiday of Diwali, and we wish to celebrate and honor those who celebrate this special holiday. Whether spoken or unspoken, your community stands with you in your joys and sorrows, and we find connection in each other. Please know that you can reach out to me or any of the pastoral ministry associates if you are struggling, or if you have a joy that we might celebrate with you together. Our meditative prayer today comes from us, from our new music director, Francisco Ruiz. It is based upon the meditation on breathing.
Al respirar, respiro paz. Al exhalar, exhalo amor. When Al respirar, respiro paz. Al exhalar, exhalo amor. Al respirar, respiro paz. Al exhalar, exhalo amor. Al respirar, respiro paz. Al exhalar, exhalo amor. Al respirar, respiro paz. Al exhalar, Respiro paz al exhalar, exhalo amor al respirar. Respiro paz al exhalar, exhalo amor al respirar. Respiro paz al exhalar, exhalo amor.
It is time to gather. And I would like to invite the young people and young at heart to come forward and join me up here in the front. So tomorrow is the start of Diwali. With 10 heads and 20 arms, he was the most fearsome creature in the land. And the Horde king had heard how kind, beautiful, and good Princess Sita was, and he wanted her for himself. And he devised a cunning plan to make her his wife. Ravana sent his servant disguised as a beautiful golden deer. And he knew that Sita would not be able to resist such an enchanting animal. And as predicted, Sita instantly fell in love when she set eyes on the deer. And she wasted no time in telling her husband Rama about the deer. Rama, nothing would make me happier than to have such a beautiful animal as my pet. Rama knew it would be difficult to catch the deer, but he replied, "For you, my dearest princess, I would do anything." So Rama asked his little brother, Lakshman, to help him catch the golden deer. And Lakshman agreed. And before leaving, he drew a circle on the ground around Sita and the house. "Do not leave this circle, Sita," he warned. "If you stay inside the lines, you will be safe." Ravana disguised himself as an old beggar and went to visit Sita. "Please help me. I am hungry and have not eaten or drunk for days," he pleaded. And Sita was very kind, and she went inside to fetch some food and water for the poor man. And as she handed the man the food, she stepped out of the circle that Lakshman had drawn. And the beggar suddenly turned back into Ravana, and he grabbed Sita and pulled her onto his mighty flying chariot and flew back to Lanka, his island. However, Sita dropped her jewelry on the ground, hoping it would leave a trail for Rama to follow. When Prince Rama returned home, disappointed because he could not get Sita the deer, the brothers had agreed it must have been some kind of a trick, and unfortunately, they were right. "Look, Sita has been kidnapped," shouted Lakshman. Rama and his brother saw one of Sita's necklaces, and then another, and then followed the trail of jewels through the forest until they came across the monkey god, Hanuman. Hanuman had many superpowers, and he could run faster than the wind and fly like a bird. He could even shrink to the size of a tiny ant, or in the blink of an eye, grow taller than the mountains. Could you please help me find my wife? Rama asked. Of course I will help you. I know you are a good man, and I will do my very best, said Hanuman. And Rama gave him his ring to give to Sita. Hanuman searched for many days and nights. He traveled through forests and up mountains. He leapt across the ocean to get to the island of Lanka, and he was brave and determined to find the princess. Eventually, he did find Sita, and she was locked up inside Ravana's prison. And Hanuman handed her Rama's ring. And Sita held on tight and waited in anticipation. And she knew it wouldn't be long until Rama would come to help her. The loyal Hanuman took the news of his discovery back to Rama, and they gathered a huge monkey army to help them rescue Sita. We can't all fly and leap like you, Hanuman. How will we get across the ocean? Asked Rama. We will use stones and build a giant bridge, replied Hanuman. And once the bridge was finished, the monkey army rushed across to find Ravana and his army. And the battle began and lasted for 10 whole days. And it was one of the mightiest battles the world had ever seen. And near the end of the 10 days, Rama and Hanuman's army started to get tired. And Ravana and his evil army would not give up. Suddenly, Rama spotted the perfect opportunity to use his magic arrow that the gods had given him, and he shot Ravana down with the magic arrow. The evil demon king Ravana fell, and Rama and his love Sita were finally reunited. And they started their long journey home on that very night. And it was a new moon, which was the perfect for new beginnings and fresh starts. But this also meant that it was very dark. All the people throughout the kingdom lit dayas. Dayas are little lamps, just like these. And they left them in their windows and doorways to help guide Rama and Sita back home. And that night, there were more dayas than stars in the sky, and it felt like the whole world was illuminated, not only with lamps, but with goodness, power, and good luck. And everyone celebrated their safe return, and still to this day, the celebrations continue every year, and they call it Diwali, the Festival of Light. And at Diwali, they remember the great story of Rama and Sita. And they light lamps, and they set off fireworks to remind themselves and each other that light triumphs over dark, and good triumphs over evil. And that is the end of the story. But before we go to class, we have some dayas here on the table. And they're little lamps, and we want to light them so that everyone can see what they look like. And I would like some help lighting these. So, Sophia, if you can light them, and Max, you want to start the ones on that side? Now, usually they have oil in the lamps, and they drape a wick over the side of it, and they light the wick. However, that also causes a lot of soot and smoke, so we're using tea lights. All right, thank you. I'll take these. So it is now time to go to class, except for the 7th and 8th graders who will be staying for the service, and they are going to have a question and answer session with Reverend Mandy right after the service up front here. Everybody else, let's sing to the children.
Giving of our treasure is how we reciprocate the many gifts we are given by this community. Your contribution supports the programs and operations of DuPage UU Church. Giving is also how we live our values in the world. Each month, we share our offerings with an organization nominated by the congregation and selected by the special offering team. This morning's offering is split between DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church and Community Access Naperville. Their mission is to empower people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to work in, contribute to, and enjoy their community. The offering is given and received in a spirit of generosity and gratitude. A reading from the Reverend Gretchen Haley. For my children who keep asking why we have to go to church. Because there's not enough people telling you that you matter. Not because you're funny or smart or send me the best YouTube videos. That you are loved, even when you cannot get up on time or you put your socks in, not beside the laundry basket. Even when your temper gets away from you, and before we know it, the whole family is crying. We are sitting here in this circle on this morning so that you hear someone else say, you are loved beyond belief. So that you feel from every direction, you belong beyond your choosing. There is nothing you can do that would make you unworthy of love. That your life is precious, each breath in and out, precious. We are here to learn how to hold this much love at the center of our beings, to let it be our greeting and our parting, to let it flow from our singing and connect us in our silence. We are here to practice showing up like it counts, because we count, to show up with courage and also humility, to remember we could be wrong about everything, to feel part of something with consequence beyond the everyday patterns, to learn community and responsibility, and to refuse despair, which if you don't need it yet, you will someday. To see people choosing kindness and letting go, giving away every blessing we receive with gratitude. Please rise in body or spirit and join us for hymn number 1030, Siya Hamba.
Every Unitarian Universalist seminarian wishing to become a minister must take something called Clinical Pastoral Education, or CPE. For some of us, like me, CPE might be one of the most difficult parts of seminary. CPE is a program that is designed to give participants a better psychological and spiritual understanding of themselves through a rigorous examination by peers and supervisors through their encounters doing chaplaincy work. I did my CPE at A State Psychiatric Hospital, which was a particularly difficult setting because of the stigma around mental health in the United States and because of the lack of funding. The work of a chaplain is hard, but the hardest part is actually the peer group time. You see, each week you were expected to write up something called a verbatim. That is a conversation you had had with one of your patients during your chaplaincy work throughout the week. You would present your verbatim to your peers and your supervisor, and then they examined every inch of what you shared. I mean every inch. They critiqued everything you said and everything how you responded. They would ask you questions like, do you think that your own issues with parental figures in your life caused you to lead the patient in that particular direction of thought? Or, I don't think what you said to this person was at all okay. Why did you say it? Or, I know that you struggle with your identity. Do you think that your struggle impacted your conversation with this person? You get the point. No stone was left unturned. Every single part of your conversation and yourself was examined. Your motivations, your struggles, all of it. And then, when you think it couldn't get worse, the entire peer group is asked to analyze the analysis. This person spoke too much. This person didn't speak enough. This person is the designated patient. You get it. It's a lot. It's a lot, and it is a lot of looking inside at yourself. Now, there are many things I learned from CPE, and it's likely that I'll bring CP up again in other future sermons because its lessons were many, many, time and again. It was deeply, deeply impactful for me. However, today I wish to share with you a lesson that was particular to my experience. If you recall from one of my sermons during candidating week way back in April, you will know that part of my seminary journey included an emotional and physical journey of healing as well. I wouldn't recommend doing those things simultaneously. Seminary is hard enough, but then you also dig into your own personal stuff, and let me tell you, it was quite a lot. But when I did both of those journeys together, it opened me up to embrace my CPE experience in a way that I would not have done if I had only done seminary. My self-defense mechanisms, all the ways that I had kept myself safe as a child through my trauma, they were being healed, which meant that I could actually face all of that critique head on. So I was actually open to embracing my CPE experience. I told you all last week that I'm a fighter, and this comes out in different ways, but during CPE, it came out in a way that only happens sometimes. And that is, I embraced the challenge. So during one of the verbatims, I decided to write up a conversation/incident that had happened in which I knew I made a mistake. It was an honest mistake, one in which no one was hurt, but it was a mistake that I was holding on to. And so I wrote it up. And I presented it. And like every other verbatim, it was analyzed. It was analyzed through every single step. But unlike every other verbatim before, I just listened. I didn't respond to any of the feedback. I just let it wash over me. I'm not entirely sure what happened, whether someone said something or just by listening and letting myself be open to what I was hearing, but a light went on in my brain. It might have also been the combination of seminary with my healing journey and all of the other pieces, but I had a revelation. Now, my revelation might be something you already know about yourself, and if so, hallelujah, because it took me 37 years to figure out this revelation. I am not a bad person because of my mistakes. I'm human. My mistakes are not a reflection of my selfhood, but a moment in time from which I might learn. This understanding of my self-worth as a reflection of my mistakes was very, very much a result of my childhood trauma. something I had carried for 37 years. And one wintry evening, while sharing a mistake I made during CPE, I realized this very special lesson, and my life was changed. It was as if someone had lit lamps to my selfhood to find its way home. Diwali is a holiday I did not grow up with. In fact, it's a holiday that I hadn't even heard of until about a decade ago. It's a holiday that is celebrated not just by Hindus, but also Sikhs, Jains, and some Buddhists, each tradition having a different mythical story associated with the celebration. While all the stories are different, there's a theme across all the traditions: the triumph of good over bad, light over dark. Now, I want to be clear here that I'm speaking of spiritual light over dark. The language of light over dark, after all, can be highly problematic, contributing to the understanding of light and white as good and dark and black as evil, not just in the United States, but also in places such as India, where the complicated caste system is also aligned on racial identity. Being clear about the language and what we mean is so important, so that we do not further repeat the harmful narrative that contributes to racism. So returning to the dark and light narrative, we find that there is a deeper meaning. Recent scholars have described the common thread of these many different mythical tales as related to something higher and more noble. The many Diwali stories show us the need for righteousness, self-inquiry, and the importance of knowledge. That is, Diwali stories can be interpreted as moral tales about developing ourselves into a place of knowing and light. Have you ever turned on a light or lit a candle in a completely dark room? There's a rush as your eyes adjust to what you can now see, but there's also a spaciousness that light gives. It's almost as if by bringing in light into the room, we find the ability to breathe more freely, a spaciousness that did not exist when everything was so dark. I imagine that Rama and Sita on their exile and then journey to fight the demon found some spaciousness when they returned home, seeing the lighted lamps calling them to their village. I know that on that cold winter night so long ago, my soul experienced a spaciousness by learning a truth so deep and real that it allowed me to breathe. It allowed me to come home to myself. Sometimes the worst demons are the ones we face within ourselves. The narratives, the lies, the negativity that we allow ourselves to believe about our selfhood. Sometimes the demons we face are the ones that tell us we are unworthy, we are unloved, we are not good enough for the people we are with, we are too darn different. I'm sure you can fill in the blank. I'm sure that the demons have their own things they say to you. And most of the time, we are so busy with our lives or so numb that these demons' voices, when spoken, are things we do not even hear any longer. And what can make it even more horrifying is when we have other people in our lives that repeat these same lies to us from their own hurt and the lies they tell themselves. I believed that my mistakes were a reflection of who I was as a person because I had people in my life who told me they were out of their own pain and hurt. Diwali has become for me a reminder of choosing the path to face my demons, that I might find the light of home, the light of my full being. That spaciousness of light I spoke of, for me, is the definition of grace. Space for ourselves and others so we might face our demons, to learn, to begin anew, and to change the lies we tell ourselves. My journey through CPE was its own way of finding lights home to myself. It gave me spaciousness to grow into myself and into my ministry. It was grace during a battle with the demons of myself. The Sunday after I had this realization, I came to church to be with my people. I was with the people who loved me even when I was not my best, who saw my inherent worth. One of the members on that Sunday asked me how my studies were going, and when I shared my struggle that week, he turned to me and said, "You belong in ministry, Mandy." He was right, and that is why I needed church. And this is why we come to church. This is why we come to this church, because we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We embrace you as you fight your demons. We walk with you, drowning out the demon voices when they say you are unworthy. You are welcome here. You are worthy here. This is the essence of Reverend Gretchen Haley's poem. We bring our children and ourselves here so we might find the light. We might find our way home. But the demons aren't always here. Sometimes they're collectively here. Sometimes the demons are found in community. For there are times as a community when we claim a narrative, a lie, a demon voice that tells us that we are not worthy, we are not welcoming enough, we are not capable. That is completely untrue. We are worthy. We are loved. Only by journeying together, by continuing to cultivate our individual and collective awareness of ourselves and our community, can we combat these lies. Only in community can we be love to each other. Only in community can we be the love that conquers demons so that we can become. Our community shows us the light home. I love Diwali. The Diya lights guiding our journeys, our paths, and our way home to ourselves and each other. I love that Diwali reminds us that we are worthy of our journey and our paths. Diwali reminds me that in community, I can be loved. In community, I can fight my demons. In community, I can help you fight your demons. And together, we can walk the path towards the light of beloved community. Please rise if you are willing and able, and join me in singing hymn number 118, This Little Light of Mine. Our closing words are from James Morrison. Within each of our hearts is a most glorious light. Go forth and let its spark help you understand what troubles both you and others. Go forth and let its light of reason be a guide in your decisions. Go forth and bring its rays of hope to those in need of help in both body and spirit, that they might find healing. Go forth and fan the flames of passion to help heal our world. Go forth and spread the warmth of love, pushing back the darkness of this world. Go forth and share your glorious light with the world. Amen.
Please join me in reading our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish the light of this chalice, but not the light in our hearts. Until we meet again, may the warmth of our community carry you.